It's the middle of the day, a normal street. People going about their routines. Nothing feels out of place. And then, in a matter of seconds, everything changes. Not because of an argument, not because of a robbery, not because of anything she did, but because someone she had never met decided to attack. No warning or any motive that makes sense. No way to predict it. Just one moment. That would end a life and leave an entire community asking the same question. How can something like this happen completely at random? Tonight, we're going to walk through that day, piece by piece. Not just what happened, but how something so ordinary turned into something no one could have seen coming. Welcome to the Hidden Chapters, uncovering the truth behind every crime. There's something unsettling about cases like this, because they don't begin with danger. They begin with normal life. And that's exactly how this story starts. Nila Patel was 56 years old, a woman known by the people around her as kind, grounded, and quiet in the best way. She wasn't someone living a risky life, and she wasn't involved in anything dangerous. She was just living her life. And on that day, nothing about the morning suggested anything unusual. No tension, no warning signs, just another day that should have ended like any other. At some point during that day, something happened nearby that would set everything in motion. A man driving through the area lost control of his car, and he crashed. Now, for most people, a crash is where the story ends. You pull over, you deal with the situation, and that's it. But this didn't end there, because after that crash, instead of staying at the scene, he walked away. And not long after, he came across someone who had nothing to do with any of it. Someone who had no idea what had just happened minutes before, and that person was Nila Patel. What makes this case so difficult to understand is how completely random that encounter was. There was no connection, no argument, no reason for confrontation or whatsoever. Just two people crossing paths, one of them unaware, the other already in a state that would lead to something unthinkable. And in that moment, everything changed. We hear the word random a lot in true crime, but in reality, most crimes aren't truly random. There's usually a relationship, a motive, a history, but in cases like this, those patterns don't exist. And that's what makes it more unsettling. Because if there's no pattern, there's nothing to avoid, nothing to predict, nothing to prepare for. It turns something we think we understand into something we can't fully explain or even imagine. Once the incident happened, emergency services were called. People in the area quickly realized something was wrong, and within a short time, police were involved. The situation was treated with the seriousness it deserved. Because it was clear very quickly, this wasn't an accident, this was something far more serious. And from that point forward, the focus shifted to understanding exactly what had happened and why. The man at the center of this case was later identified. His actions that day would become the focus of the investigation. What was already known was that he had been driving before the incident, and that he had been under the influence of cannabis. Now this is where things become important, because substance use doesn't automatically lead to violence. But in certain situations, it can affect judgment, perception, or even decision-making. And in this case, it played a role in the chain of events that followed. Investigators began reconstructing the timeline, the driving, the crash, the moments after, and then the encounter. Each step mattered, because understanding the sequence is what turns confusion into clarity. And slowly, a picture started to form, Not a comfortable one, but a clear one. When the case reached court, it was no longer about what happened, because that part was already understood. Now it was about accountability, about recognizing the seriousness of what had taken place, and ensuring that it was addressed properly under the law. During sentencing, the judge described the attack using words that reflected its nature: horrific, violent, random. And those words matter, because they acknowledge something important. This wasn't just a crime. It was a moment that shattered the sense of safety people rely on every day. There's a reason stories like this don't leave people easily. It's not just what happened, it's what it represents. Because most of us move through life assuming a certain level of safety in everyday situations. Walking down the street, running errands, simple things. And these kind of cases challenge that assumption, not by saying the world is constantly dangerous, but by reminding us that unpredictability exists. At the center of this case is a person, not a headline, not a statistic. A person with a life, with routines, with people who knew her. And for those people, this isn't just a case. It's something that changed their lives permanently. And that's something that often gets lost when stories like this are reduced to headlines. So what do we take from something like this? Not fear, that's not useful, but awareness. Understanding that while rare, events like this do happen, and that they don't always follow patterns we expect. It's not about changing how we live. It's about recognizing reality without letting it control us. That day started like any other. No signs, no warnings, just normal life. And in a single moment, everything changed. Not because of something planned and not certainly because of something personal. Only because of something completely unpredictable. And maybe that's why it is so hard to understand. Not the how, but the why. Because sometimes, there isn't an answer that makes you feel satisfied. Only the reality of what happened. And the reminder that even in the most ordinary moments, life can change in ways we never expect for any of us out there. Sometimes we are so much lost in our daily routine that we forget to realize that life is not only about maintaining the pace of our schedules, but slowing down enough to ensure the last words we say to someone aren't just a distracted goodbye. Don't just say goodbye. Hug them like you mean it. Our routines make us feel immortal, but life is really just a series of hellos until one day, we run out of them.
If this case stayed with you, you're not the only one. And if you're ready for the details most people miss, there's more waiting in the full Hidden Chapters playlist.